Coming up, we'll talk to Mach 1 Services co-founders Rick and Laura Narpal. We'll talk about the dream that got the company started and recruiting service providers for their San Antonio-based startup. Our conversation with Rick and Laura next on The Art of Improvement. Hi, this is Karen Klaus, and Giovanni is not here today. It's just me, but I'm kind of glad because I'm a little bit greedy with our guest today. Mach 1 Services CEO Rick Narpal and President Laura Narpal, husband and wife, co-founders of a San Antonio startup. It's hard for me to even say startup because when I read about Mach 1 Services, I said to myself, this is the most brilliant idea I've ever heard. And how has this not existed in our world before? Thanks so much for coming today, you guys.
Thanks for having us,
Karen.
Thank
you for having us.
We have to start at the very beginning. How did you meet each other? Were y'all entrepreneurs to start with? Who came up with what idea? I know that's about 100 questions, but
well, if we talk about how we met, we'd be here a while.
Okay.
We've known each other a long time.
Okay.
And we moved to San Antonio 7.5 years ago. And about 2 years ago, my husband, Rick, had the idea for a new roadside assistance app, Mach 1 Services, that would kind of automate the entire roadside assistance process.
But when you say that, it sounds so simple. But if you give the details, people are going to be like, jaw drop, because it is such a fabulous idea. And even before we started recording, I told you about a time that I was on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere with my 2 little girls and had no idea what I was going to do because I was an hour out of town and not really even sure where I was. So How does it all work?
Well, in a lot of cases, a lot of people have the same problem, Karen. You know, they have to call somebody if you get a flat tire. In most cases, you're calling someone, your spouse, your parents, your kids, somebody come help you, right? And they're at work, they're traveling. So somebody's looking for a tow truck. Somebody's, trying to get a hold of anybody to help. Yeah, there's 20 cars zipping by you, but nobody's stopping. People want to be good Samaritans, but they don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. So Mach 1 is designed that, all the service providers has to go through a background check. So you know that they're vetted, you're safe, they are all insured. But you touch the phone app, much like an Uber. You touch the phone app, you know who's coming, how far away they are. They come help you do what you have to. How many people carry cash on them today? Exactly.
I think there's a quarter at the bottom of my purse, but I'm not sure.
Well, that's not really going to get you much for help out there.
Right.
But the nice thing is you load a credit card or an account or a debit card, whatever, on the account. You get done. You touch the button, confirm the order. The person gets paid.
But Rick, you need to back up. How did this start? Tell them about your idea.
Because people don't believe me. That's why I usually don't tell them. But, a lot of people think of chasing a dream. That's exactly what this is. June 2 years ago, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, a dark room, staring at the ceiling, and everything from the idea, the concept, the logo, the motto of the company, people helping people, everything came. So that logo you're looking at today, it was just a vision. So I went downstairs. I couldn't sleep. Went down, brewed a pot of coffee about 4:30, and I got a notepad and a pen. I started putting all this down on paper. About 6:30, Laura texted me, "Where are you?" I brought her a cup of coffee
Because we text,
upstairs.
we don't walk downstairs.
Right.
I know. My kids and I do the same thing.
It's the new way. I yell down the stairs at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I brought up the notepad and a cup of coffee, and she looked at it, and she sat up, and she goes, "What is this?" I said, "I don't know. It just came to me." That's what I had a dream about, and I couldn't sleep. So I figured I'd put it on paper, and she did some research with her marketing background and said, "Rick, this doesn't exist."
I could not find anything like it anywhere.
I have goosebumps. When you say that, I get goosebumps. I'm like, wow, the light bulb went off.
Yeah. And from there, it was kind of crazy. We decided to go meet with a patent attorney because we're like, well, this has got to be at least something like this has got to exist. Maybe we're just not finding it. And the patent attorney was like, well, no, we did the research, couldn't find anything. So we actually have a patent pending on the processes for it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So what was your background before, Rick? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I was going to say it's roadside assistance is one, but now we made it bigger. Now it's mobile mechanic. Vehicle, you can have somebody come to your driveway to check out your vehicle before you go on vacation or before your kids go off to college. My background, no ex-military, ex-Air Force, and then I was in law enforcement for a few years. And then about 96, 97, my brother started a chemical manufacturing company. So I became partners with him, went back and studied sales and marketing. So no, nothing roadside
I was going to
assistance,
say,
nothing.
where did the dream come from?
Right. We didn't have a
Nothing
bad
related to it.
experience. Well, we've had bad experiences, but
Everybody
it didn't
has.
spur but it didn't spur this whole thing. So
So
Hence what I said, literally chasing your dream here.
I know. So how do you? Okay, so you have a background in marketing.
yes.
That doesn't really say anything about an app. That doesn't say anything about roadside assistance. Like, how did
Yes.
you even
Well,
start?
I mean, actually, my background, it's kind of diverse. Everything from international business to customer service, running call centers to actually managing developers and designers. So I kind of had like that side where I kind of had a place to start. I've worked on app projects before. So I was able to kind of bring that to the table and everything digital marketing, from having an online presence overall to the actual advertising. So, I was like, okay, the first thing we need to do is go check if that domain's available and, bring some of that background to the table.
Okay, so but this is the beginnings of the idea and y'all working on it. But again, we've got to, because I'm just so blown away by the idea, you've got to start and just tell us from the beginning what Mach 1 Services does. I mean, you get the app on your phone. Can people get it right now?
Yes. So if you have an iOS phone or device, even a tablet, you can download it right now. So if you go to the App Store and just search Mach 1 Roadside Assistance and you'll find us there. It's a little M1 icon. You can also, if you're interested in being a provider, you can find us for the Mach 1 Provider app as well.
Okay, but talk about that. What do you mean a provider? So
Sure. So everybody that actually does the roadside assistance, we call a service provider. So most of our network is people that have already been in the roadside assistance industry. They have tow trucks or they do, mobile mechanic work or changing flat tires on a regular basis. That was where we kind of started with. But now we actually have providers in 49 states across the entire U.S.
So think of someone that works for an auto shop 8 hours a day, they're a mechanic. Now they can download the app as a service provider. They're on their way home. They're on their way to the grocery store. They get a ping. Somebody's got a flat tire, a dead battery. They pull over to help them. 48 hours later, they get money in their account, automatic deposit.
okay, what if I'm not working at one of those tire shops or something like that? What if I know how to change a tire? Is that something that's going to be available? We were talking about like Uber Eats
Right.
earlier. And so anybody can be an Uber driver, as long as they pass their background check. And so is this something that y'all are going to follow also?
We actually have some Uber drivers that are already signed up with us. So they just provide their current background check or take the new one through our company. And it's a bigger company. So we know that they're 6-point vetted and safe to provide the services to you.
And so somebody that's signed up as a provider, I mean, if they know how to change a tire, or what
Right.
else do you need to know?
There's no certification out there for
Right.
changing a tire. There's no certification for jump starting a car.
I don't have a certification in either of those. I know.
Well,
you don't have to
especially
do
here-
everything. You can only choose to do the flat tire service if you only know how to change the
Right.
flat
You
tire.
can just choose what service. Now, here's the funny thing. Who doesn't know how to put gas in a vehicle?
No one, I don't think.
Exactly. So
Well, if you're
somebody-
driving, I hope you do.
I know.
Yeah, if you run out of gas, and then just yesterday we were talking to someone that actually thought they could make it to work. They got because they didn't work far from home.
Was it my sister?
No.
She does it all the time.
This was somebody waiting anxiously for our app to come out, and it happened right before we released it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he ran out of gas and said, "Oh man, I wish the app was up," because literally somebody could have 2 gallons of gas. All you need is a DOT approved can. Have a strap in your trunk. You just have it in the back of your car. And somebody needs gas. You pull up, you put the gas in the car. You get $30, $40 in your account in 48 hours.
Unbelievable. It's
So,
just
yeah.
so great.
So if you're in San Antonio and Austin today, you can get Mach 1 services if you need help for roadside assistance.
And of course, when I talked to you, I was like, okay, yeah, that's great for San Antonio and Austin, and you're starting. But I mean, this is an idea that everybody needs. Everybody
Absolutely.
needs this service.
Yeah, we plan to scale through the entire U.S. very quickly. In fact, in 1 week's time from now, we'll have services in Corpus Christi. So by Labor Day weekend, this will be available in Corpus Christi, Dallas, Houston, shortly after that. And as I mentioned earlier, we actually have a network of providers in 49 states already. So as we build those out, we'll be opening other markets across the U.S.
And so, is there just so that people will know, they're listening to the idea right now, Mach 1 Services, you can download the app. Is there somewhere like a website that people can find out more so they can read and study it? Because, there are people, like me that are like, wait a second, I don't get it. It sounds too good to be true. So they want to know more.
Yeah. So Mach1services.com is our website, and MACH, the number 1, and services.com. There's videos on there where you can actually see the provider and customer apps working in tandem together. And those are our systems in real time. So we know the average completion time so far that we've run is about 17 minutes, which sounds impossible for roadside assistance. But these providers are available on their apps, and so they get dispatched immediately. We don't go through any call centers. There's no negotiating of the prices. That's done through the app. So it's extremely fast. We like to say one of our taglines is Mach 1 roadside assistance at the speed of sound.
Perfect. So. It's perfect, And so it's so weird for me to even think of what life was like before a cell phone. And so I can only imagine that it's going to be the same way with Mach 1 Services. You're like, how in the world did we exist without this? And so when you said that your original idea was roadside services, I get that,
yes.
A roadside assistance. Mm-hmm. I guess just brainstorming made you think of the other things, like,
It kind of went hand in hand, because a lot of people, there's a lot of other services you need to into a vehicle, and eventually we're going to expand the services, even mobile detailing, glass replacement. It's things that you don't have to be in a shop to have done. A lot of people have tools in their cars. They can pull over and do something for you, or they can come to your driveway and do it. With the individual providers, yes, they have to have a safety vest, and then they have to have 2 LED flashers, one for your vehicle, one for their vehicle. Because right now, if law enforcement pull up, then you have a flat tire, even though they can't change your tire for liability reasons, but they still have to sit there and wait with the flashing lights. It's taking law enforcement off the streets from what they should be doing.
Absolutely. If you've just now started listening, you're listening to Rick Narpal and Laura Narpal, husband and wife co-founders of Mach 1 Services. And you mentioned law enforcement, and we were talking earlier about how there's a special deal, a connection that y'all have, because obviously your background.
Right. Mach 1 is a veteran-owned business. So what we're doing for veterans and first responders is we're onboarding for free, meaning your background check. Even if you're a veteran and you're not a first responder, if you're just a veteran and an individual, decide you want to become a provider for 2 service, you want to bring gas and you want to change tire, we will get you the starter kit for free. We will pay for your background check so you can get started on your own. A lot, especially people transitioning out of the military, they're having a tough time finding jobs out there. So if they would like to make this a career and maybe even have some employees create a business and putting a team of people together that would help them, teach them business, what they need to know. I'm talking to a company about financing vehicles for them, what they call service vehicles, whether it's a pickup truck or a van with all the equipment to do roadside assistance. So literally a transitioning veteran can come out, go in business for himself, because I don't know many veterans that can't change a tire, that can't bring someone gas, and they especially can't jumpstart a car.
Exactly. And can start a fire in a pinch.
That too.
I mean, that's an amazing thing. So here we are, already up and running. So how has it been? How has it been in the beginnings of Mach 1 Services?
Well, it's a lot of work to start a business, as a lot of entrepreneurs know. But it's been a really great experience for Rick and I, because we kind of both brought a different skill set to the table, and we can kind of work on each other's strengths and really be each other's support system. We understand how much work needed to go into this and really make it live to fruition here. So.
Absolutely. And so it's crazy. We talk about entrepreneurs, but, and this is a fabulous idea. Big stars, big gold stars. But was there any other ideas before this that we were like, that's a great idea? Maybe not so much. I mean,
no. Absolutely.
Yes, there was.
It's weird. This one came and stuck with us. And I don't know what the drive is, what the passion is. Well, I think we know why, because the motto company being people helping people. And really, I want to keep that. I want people to literally be able to take this to heart.
And we knew, we researched and found out that the service providers in the roadside assistance industry actually get taken advantage of, believe it or not,
How?
by these other companies. So they do work for the big insurance companies, and then they only get paid, 30 to 45 days, or they try to negotiate their rates down. There's no GPS to the customer. They can't talk to the customer. There's a lot of other road bumps, like they have to talk with the dispatcher if they can't find the customer, things like that. So we really do feel like we're helping both of the markets here.
Absolutely.
And that makes it even more special for us to continue. It's not just, what's the bottom line look like? We're actually helping people out there on both sides of the market.
But it makes me, it's not that I don't believe y'all, but
Trust me, we're not believing ourselves right now either, Karen.
But it always, when I talk to entrepreneurs, which you guys are, I always think to myself, there's a certain mindset that you have to have as an entrepreneur to say, we're going full force. We're forgetting about everything else because, we know this is good, and we're not going to quit we're going to quit our day jobs. I mean, what was the decision to finally say, okay, we're not working anymore. This is it. This is it full force.
Well, we knew we had to go full time to make this a success. And we're both very passionate about it. So we knew that failure was not an option. So we kind of put that out of our minds, and we just knew we had to bring this to market, and this is what we wanted to do. And we've just been pushing really hard to make it happen.
That's so great.
And try telling any military person to quit.
That's
Good
right.
luck
It's
with
never
it. I don't think they know how. But back to when you asked earlier about, our skill set and what we do. My skill set's pretty easy. Laura just tells me what to do, and I just do it.
No, I say I don't need Google because I have a husband. So,
So yes, we have fun at work.
And so, did you have any feedback from family members about this?
Yes, let me answer that one. Most people thought we were on crack. Like, are you guys
That's what I was
crazy?
wondering.
You don't know anything about this industry. You don't know anything about this business. Well, especially the tow companies out there. The first question out of their mouth, are you from this industry? Do you know anything about it? No.
What makes you think you can do this kind of thing?
Because we're not in the tow business.
Mm-hmm.
We are in a connecting business. We're connecting providers and customers and vice versa. But yeah, a lot of people till today that's probably going to be listening to this had doubts about if we can do it.
Well, my parents are both entrepreneurs, so I think that bug bit me at a very early age. So I don't think they were surprised by it. So they just tried to support me and, say the things that I needed to hear along the way. Just yesterday, I talked to my dad, who said, just enjoy every phase of it, so.
What do they do, by the way?
My mom has been in her own business for a long time. She's been running a live music venue in South Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so that's been amazing to watch the growth and to see the live music come together. And so it's been really amazing. It's a lot of work. People that say that they're going to run a bar when they retire, don't do it. That's not, you're not going to retire. No. And then my dad has actually been in agriculture. So he has created, he has patents. He hasn't created the microorganisms, but he basically works with farmers to use microorganisms as fertilizer instead of all these pesticides and things that are bad for the environment. So I'm super excited about that as well, because the potential, all we hear about is cancer causing pesticides. And so the potential, even internationally right now with his products, it's an amazing thing to watch.
So, as you said, you have two small children, two little girls. And
Yes.
so, obviously their lives are going to be a lot different than...
No, it's not. They're going to have
They
paper
have
outs.
to do their chores.
And I wish they had paper out. If not, they're going to be mowing the lawn.
I was going to ask about that, because a lot of times, things might have been different before, and kids may not have seen the path that, you've taken. And how do you even handle that? Do they already have cell phones? Do they already have their iOS?
Nope. Matter of fact,
They can work a cell phone. They can change settings without us knowing.
Even dinner time, it's music on in the house, no cell phones, and we talk.
And so do you think, I know your children are very small, 2 and 4, but do you think that the entrepreneurial spirit, obviously you've gotten it from your parents, you know about people with their own business in your family.
Right.
And so, do you see personality traits in them?
Oh, absolutely. They're both very much leaders. Yes, absolutely. The little one is definitely the boss. She's in charge of pretty much everything.
Including us.
And do you see, I mean, what would you say to them if they said, oh, we came up with this idea and we're going to go forward? You're going to be like, ah.
I would totally support it. In fact, our older one, she just started preschool, and the teacher said she did really good today, that she was very friendly and helped some of the other kids.
Never mind.
Yeah, I know it's already kind of written in the walls, I think.
I get it already. Well, as we're, coming to the end of our show, I know it's so quick, but I wanted to go back over and talk about how people get the app, what it does, and how they can find out more about it.
Sure. So there's 7 main roadside assistance services that they can order through the app. And on top of that, they can get mobile mechanic services as well. There's one feature we didn't talk about, and that's connecting them to local police departments for non-emergency, because actually 65% of 911 calls are for roadside assistance, which actually bogs down, the local enforcement agencies. So we're hoping to help on that front as well. So any of those you can order through the app. And right now we are available for iOS. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can go to the App Store and just search Mach 1 roadside assistance, and you'll see the little M1 icon, and you can download it from there. We also have the provider app available for the service providers, and Android will be coming out soon. Within the next couple of weeks, we expect an approval from Google, and that will be live as well.
And if you could, again, talk about, the special deal that you have for
thank you, Karen. I was going to reiterate that if you are a veteran, a first responder, firefighter, police officer, EMS, by all means, if it's a great way to not only help people. Let's face it, most police officers out there are doing it anyways. Firefighters off duty, they're just good people that will stop and help someone because that's their trait. Why not make a little money while you're doing it? And you can dictate if you want to make the money. If you decide to help somebody and do it for free, by all means you can, but at least you have the app that's connecting you for doing that.
And they do choose a final price within the app, the providers do.
And so talk about the price again. I mean, if you don't mind, it's a set price. And
actually, it's not a set price. It's a price window. What we do based on a region of the country. Obviously, New York and San Antonio will be completely different for a tow truck or something. Most of the tire change for the individual providers will probably be pretty standard. But for tow trucker or mobile mechanic or something, different part of the region. So we're putting, for example, in San Antonio, a tire change will be between $30 and $45. So it's that window. You're going to pay someplace between there. Laura's telling me a little bit more than that, but I don't have
Today it is.
It's different in San Antonio than like Rick just mentioned in New York and different places. So that's what we're trying to set up is the pricing schedules, that it's based on the fair market rate in that market that we open in. And right now we're open in San Antonio and Austin, by Labor Day in Corpus Christi, shortly after Houston, Dallas, and then across the U.S. thereafter.
But you do have the ability within the app, if it's going to be a little bit more because of traffic, because of weather, because of you hit a curb and your lug nuts are stripped out, then you can discuss that with the provider. You can increase the amount right on the app, and everybody's happy. Everybody goes home.
And so how do you know which provider is going to go and help that person?
The system dictates that.
Okay.
GPS. Everything is GPS based, the closest one.
Ah, that's amazing. And so everybody's like connected and saying, okay, I'm 1 block from this person, so
right.
I'll go help.
And it doesn't go to 10 providers. It goes to the closest one. If they can accept or decline, they have a minute to do that. If they don't respond or didn't see their phone or something, it goes to the next one. It goes to the next, continues doing that until you find someone.
And so when you said the provider app, the part of it that's for providers, if somebody wants to sign up right now, they can do that in San Antonio, Austin.
Yes. Oh, right. Well, they can sign up anywhere. They can sign up anywhere within the U.S. The provider apps are up. And yes, we didn't talk about it, but it's free for the provider and it's free for the customer.
To download the app.
That's amazing.
The app, and then, it doesn't cost you anything to get started.
But if they wanted to sign up to be a provider, they would just go to our website, mach1services.com, and it will walk them through the sign-up process there.
Okay. I'm still, like, my jaw dropped. When I read the article about you guys, I just can't congratulate you enough because it's a fabulous idea that's going to save so many people like myself out there.
That's what we're hoping because, think of tragedies too that happen. Somebody break down 10 o'clock at night. They don't have flashers on their vehicle and they get struck by another vehicle. We're hoping this would fix that quick. And a lot of it is the response time.
Mm-hmm. I know. I was one tiny little story for me. I was actually in a car with a lady and all of our kids, and she was like, I go, we're right at an exit. You got to call the police. She's like, oh, I'm not going to call the police. I've never called the police in my life. I'm like, we're at an exit. Call the police. And it was sometimes people are even afraid when they don't know what to do.
Right.
Right.
And so this is a perfect answer for both, getting somebody to help you and getting help. I mean, it's a great idea.
Yeah, and,
And it's on
I would like
demand.
to see this get across the U.S. as fast as possible to help people. A lot of that is based on funding now.
Oh, yeah.
Now marketing is not cheap, so we are seeking investors to be able to scale a lot faster.
Oh, okay. Where do they call you? Do they go to your website?
Sure, go to the website and
could.
send a message to me.
Okay. Well, thank you once again.
Thank
so
you
much
for
for coming
having
by.
us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. You've been listening to Rick and Laura Narpal with Mach 1 Services. Get their app. If you're smart, you got to get it right now.
We hope you never need it, but we
Yeah.
all know you will at some
The new
point.
kind of insurance. You don't need to pay
Everybody.
for it.
Exactly. Everybody needs it. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And again, you've been listening to Art of Improvement. And if you would like, you can find it on the iHeart Radio app under podcast. It's The Art of Improvement.